Howdy, this is Jim Hissong, your Poli-Sci 1000 American and Wyoming Government course facilitator. I know that some of you, this is your first online class. For others, I can just about guarantee this is the first time you've seen BlackBoard 9. Western started using BlackBoard 9 this spring semester. So what I've done is, this is your Blackboard login. Most of you will get to this point going through Cruiser. Notice that there is your WWCC email and more Mustang Cruiser. I would prefer you use Mustang Cruiser because you should be checking your email every day. For there may be announcements that are sent to you. I may be sending you messages that are important, so you need to take a look at that. Also notice that there's a warning down in this bottom right hand corner that says that there are known issues for students and faculty using Microsoft Internet Explorer with Blackboard 9.1. It is highly recommended that you use Mozilla Firefox as your internet browser when working in Blackboard. Students and faculty have had much fewer issues using Firefox. I can tell you that's for a fact. I've been using Blackboard 9 as an instructor for Sheridan College now for 4 semesters, and I don't know what the reason is, but Mozilla Firefox works better. So if you start having issues using Internet Explorer, go to Mozilla Firefox. Now I want to log into Blackboard as a student so we see it as you would as a student. So let me put in a dummy student username and a password. And we'll log in. And this is how Blackboard will look to you as it begins loading. On this side, on the right side, you'll see the courses that you are enrolled in. There will be, if there are announcements that have been posted, you'll find those announcements here. I strongly suggest you take a look at the announcements when they're posted. Let's go ahead and get into the course by clicking on the hyperlink. And here's Blackboard 9. It'll always open up to announcements so that you can see if there's been an announcement posted that you should be taking a look at. Notice this is 118 day 1. Welcome to Poli-Sci 1000. When I make these announcements, I oftentimes also email them to you. So be checking your Mail Cruiser account. For the first day, we've got a button here, Start Here. Pretty important. Under the Start Here button, I've created a number of hyperlinks and files. Navigating Blackboard, which is this particular presentation. Welcome. Here's stuff that you're going to need to get started successfully. If you've never looked at Blackboard, I strongly suggest you take a look at the Blackboard demo course. It'll give you an idea of how to navigate. Learning Modules button is your key to Poli-Sci 1000. Each Saturday of the corresponding week, a learning module will be available. Learning modules contain all the assignments and pertinent info you need for that week. That Learning Modules button is over here. We'll go through that here in a moment. Registering for My Poli-Sci Lab. My Poli-Sci Lab is an online kit with pre-tests and post-tests and chapter exams and flashcards and a number of other items that'll help you in your self-learning for this course. There are video and video activities within My Poli-Sci Lab that you have assigned to you every week. You must register for My Poli-Sci Lab. This particular file goes into my Poli-Sci Lab registration instructions. Whether you got an access code from my Poli-Sci Lab with a new book from the bookstore, you can purchase an access code online. If you have a used book or one that you found laying around, as long as it's 2011 edition, you can use that, but you still have to get on, register for my Poli-Sci Lab, and purchase a registration for $33 that you'll use without an ebook. There's a video that was created by Emily Schultz, Pearson Rep, that goes through a step-by-step to help you register for my Poli-Sci Lab. Very important in my Poli-Sci Lab, choose the correct text when you register. There's 5 different texts. They all have the same looking icon. There's only one of them that says Essentials Edition. That's the one you have to choose. If you choose any other, it just becomes a mess. So go through it step by step. You'll find under the Start button, Brief Syllabus, Instructor Introduction, and that's not just, me spouting off my credentials and everything. It's 2 pages. I know that it's a little bit long, but that document, that instructor introduction, goes through my expectations for you and what you can expect from me as facilitator for this course. There is a course calendar. Everything we're going to do for the next 15 weeks is in that course calendar. There's an assessment checklist that goes every assessment for each learning module. You can use it to check off and make sure that you've done those assignments. You can put down the number of points that you've received, and you can keep best track of the assignments that you must do to be successful in the course. There's a guideline for participation on discussion board. There's a rubric on those guidelines for discussion board that tell you how and what I expect to see in discussion board and what points will be assigned. There's my Poli-Sci Lab review that'll help you in some of your written assignments. This is an important document and etiquette. Common sense rules with communicating with your instructor and peers, particularly on discussion board. Now, that's the Start Here button. That's where you should get going on the first day. And don't procrastinate. The biggest problem that I find with students when they're not successful is they procrastinate and they don't manage their time in the online classes. Figure out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and what time you have in order to complete the assignments. Now let's go through some of these other buttons on the left. There's an announcements button. That'll take you to any announcements that I've posted. It's important information that you need to have. The announcements stay on for a week at a time, then they go off so we don't clutter up the mess. There's a course information button. And once this manages to load, you'll see again, registration for my Poli-Sci Lab, syllabus, structure introduction, course calendar, assessment, guidelines, guidelines for unit tests. But there's also text, chapter 1, parts 1 through 5, a folder that contains the first chapter. If for some reason you can't get a textbook the first week, this is from a 2007 text, but it's one that you can use. Here's a file that tells you how you can forward your cruiser email to your personal account if you have a Gmail account, Yahoo, whatever. If that's one that you check, you should probably forward. Please understand, I will only accept email from you from your cruiser account, so I don't have any problems with viruses and so forth. There's also a folder here for tips and tricks. Under learning modules, this is your key to making sure that you do all the assignments that are required for each learning module each week. First off, there's a browser tune-up. This is a good little file to make sure that you have everything, all the add-ons in your browser, so that it'll bring up BlackBoard and you can navigate it easily. Each week you'll find a learning module for the corresponding week. You click on the hyperlink, and when it loads up here, you'll find learning objectives for that week, the reading assignment. There are PowerPoint videos that are assigned. These are ones that I've created and uploaded to YouTube. I can tell you right now, you read the chapters, you read the assignments, you pay attention to the videos, and you're a long ways towards doing well on the test. If you don't read, if you don't watch the videos, you're going to put yourself in a world of hurt when it comes to the unit tests. There will be a hyperlink for the My Poli Sci Lab quizzes that you have. For this particular week, there's a practice test to make sure that you know how to navigate an online test. Under the Assignments tab, you'll eventually have hyperlinks for different assignments for Project 1 and Project 2 and so forth. The Test Quiz button. When a unit test is assigned, you'll find the unit test under this particular button. It'll appear for about a 3-4 day window. Discussion board. Every week, that unless there's a unit test, constitution test, the final exam is assigned, you'll have a discussion board assignment. This week, it's a bonus DBQ for this first week. You're going to introduce yourself and answer a question about what you think is some of the pressing problems in politics. Notice there's also a frequently asked questions FAQ forum. If you're having a problem and instead of emailing me, you can use this to post a question. I'll get to you as quick as I can. If one of your classmates can answer the question, feel free to reply. Okay, so that's basically how to navigate Blackboard 9 on the first day. Once you log in, best place to start is to start here. Everything you need to get started the first week is here. Email is the best way to communicate with me. If you have any questions, please email me. And again, welcome to Poli-Sci 1000 American Wyoming Government. I'm Jim Hissong, and I'm signing off.